Could a little brunette line blending help the Nashville Predators convert shot chances into goals tonight against the Anaheim Ducks? We're going to tell you what we think about that coming up on today's Locked On Predators podcast.
You're Locked On Predators, your daily podcast on the Nashville Predators, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy game day, everybody. Welcome to the Locked On Predators podcast. Thanks so much for making us your first listen of the day. We are, of course, your free daily Nashville Predators podcast. We're a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Want to kick off our Tuesday episode shouting out our Locked On Predators insiders community and, of course, our everydayers who tune in to talk Nashville Predators hockey with us. I'm Ann Kimmel. I'm a writer and co-host with Penalty Box Radio and Friends. I have a Thelma to my Hockey Louise.
You do. I'm Emma Lingan, and I'm an NHL reporter and host for the Hockey News.
Well, the Nashville Predators are kicking off a 5-game homestand tonight against the Anaheim Ducks. On today's show, we're going to discuss the possible root causes of Nashville Predators scoring woes and the line combination moves we might see tonight to try to help that out. We're also going to hear from Andrew Brunette on the goal scoring challenges the team is facing early this season. Plus, we will preview tonight's game against Anaheim and share our keys to Nashville getting back in the win column against this Western Conference rival. Before we dive into all of that, we do want to let you know today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. All right, Emma, I'm not going to sing it, but the boys are back in town. They have been gone. Gosh, they were gone over a week. Was it over a week? It was a big road trip. It was a long one to start.
4 games.
It's been 84 years since the Predators practiced in Bridgestone. Yeah, they were back there on Monday, back at Bridgestone Arena, practicing there. And here's where we want to kick it off. Let's talk about the practice lines we saw on Monday. Now, keep in mind that we may see different lines this morning at morning skate. We may see no lines this morning at morning skate if it's an optional practice. But just let's start with this conversation, Emma. When they were practicing Monday, here were the lines we saw in practice. Forsberg, Ryan O'Reilly, Luke Evangelista, Michael Bunting, Eric Haula, Steven Stamkos, Fedor Svechkov on the wing, centered by Brady Martin and Tyson Jost on that line. And then the fourth line, Smith, McCarron, and Weisblatt. Of course, defensively, we had Wilsby Yossi, Shea Perbix, Stasny Barron, and Nick Hague was on the ice practicing, and he and Blankenberg took some reps together. No Jonathan Marchessault on Monday, still on Monday listed as day-to-day lower body injury. Are we back in line blender territory, Emma? And how do you feel about what we saw Monday morning?
Well, I think it is worth noting that we don't have any sort of update on Marchessault. He didn't skate on Monday, as you said, but he could still skate this morning. He could still be in the lineup technically. But assuming he's not, what I do like is Evangelista with Forsberg and O'Reilly. I like that line a lot. Mm-hmm. Stamkos moving down to Marchessault's spot with Haula and Bunting. Fine. I think that Haula might be able to help him a little bit. Again, it's really more the power play where I'm having problems with this entire team, but specifically Stamkos. The second line with Brady Martin, Tyson, or maybe that you would flip it, the second and the third line, but Brady Martin, Svechkov, Tyson Jost. I don't know that that's going to really get the best out of any of those guys and match up well against a young, fast, dynamic Anaheim Ducks team. But and I should mention a ticked off Anaheim Ducks team that's coming in
Oh,
from Chicago after
they're coming
losing in
hot.
overtime to the
They're coming in
Blackhawks.
hot. They're coming in
Yeah,
hot, y'all. Buckle up.
yeah. So eh, I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe they end up going 11-7 again, which honestly I wouldn't hate. I thought Nick Blankenberg had the best game of any of the defensemen against Winnipeg. So I wouldn't mind seeing him in there again.
Yeah.
But I really just think there's so much unknown, and we know they like to keep these things close to the vest. And we probably won't know for sure until warm-ups tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know that we're going to see much or garner much information from morning skate this morning. So, we'll keep you posted on that. We did mention Brady Martin out there practicing on Monday, but there is no commitment necessarily as of the time of this recording that he will be in the lineup. And this is one of those conversations, going around. You mentioned going 11-7, and that would probably mean Brady Martin is going to watch the game again, like he has for the road trip. And it's interesting to me, we asked Andrew Brunette about that on Monday, and he said, look, we have a plan for his development. They're not going to tell us the plan. I'm sure it's in pen, not in pencil, maybe in colored pencil or crayon. I don't know.
The plan is in pen, but the path is in pencil. We
The
know
path
this.
is in
It's
pencil. There we go.
also not a rebuild, it's a build. Also very important to keep in mind as well.
Yes, yes. Let's make sure we get all of these terms right. So there is a plan for Brady Martin's development. And look, I don't think the Nashville Predators, I don't think the coaching staff, I don't think the front office is feeling a ton of pressure to get these 9 games in for Brady Martin. They're going to probably weigh what is best for Brady Martin. That's the official word. Andrew Brunette's like, look, we are going to do what is best for his development. And I think they're also going to keep in mind what is best for this team. And, I look at the game tonight and I think if you go 11-7, I feel fine. I feel fine about that. They went 11-7 against Winnipeg. Is Brady Martin the guy that was going to make the difference against the Winnipeg Jets? I'm going to say no. And that's not, again, an evaluation of his skill set or his potential or what he is going to mean to this franchise. I am just saying we are not a Brady Martin playing 60 minutes away from being the most scary team in the NHL. So lineup decisions are interesting. I am with you. I love Evangelista with Forsberg and Ryan O'Reilly. That is where he thrived at the end of last season. And I do think Eric Halla could be somebody who could really get Stamkos going. But again, it's put a pin in it. Is Steven Stamkos going to get going on a line with veterans and not young players? So there is going to be some line blending. Here is what I will say about this, Emma, and you can tell me kind of where you're at. I don't feel bad about this line blending because it's not the first game. 2 shifts in, baby. And there's also, you just have to do something with Marchessault out. So I'm not as frustrated about the changes that Andrew Brunette's making. And I do think he does want to get Vange going. Absolutely, this team needs Steven Stamkos going 5-on-5 and on the power play. Sweet baby hockey Jesus, do something. Do something.
Do
Anything.
something. Please.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I don't feel bad about it. I'm with you. And also, I will say the line blending in this case is necessitated by
Right.
Marchessault's injury.
Mhm.
Again, I think a lot of people get hung up on Brady Martin not playing, to which I say, just please take a breath. We are 2 weeks into this thing. It's fine. He was not intended to be a major contributor to this team this season. I hear the argument all the time. Well, why is he still here? Well, we went over that already a couple days ago. Go watch our show.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a lot of nuanced reasons that he's still there. And I don't think that this is hurting his development at all.
Right. I would agree. And no, he's not playing at game speed when he is practicing with these people. But at this point, is game speed going back in juniors going to advance his game? Or is he going to grow more as a player being around these veterans, traveling with the team, practicing at the NHL level? So again, we did a whole thing, y'all. Check out the whole thing we did. Coming up, the Nashville Predators, in case you haven't noticed, have problems scoring goals. Doesn't really matter what the opponent does. They just have trouble scoring goals. We are going to share with you what Andrew Brunette had to say about goal scoring. We're also going to hear from one of the veterans about his personal struggle finding the back of the net. Today's episode is brought to you by our great friends at FanDuel. The NFL season is in full swing, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you're going to unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. You're going to love how FanDuel is going to give you so many different ways to play. You can build same game parlays. You can try those player props. You can even follow the live lines as the action unfolds. It's going to make watching these football games even more exciting when you've got a little something riding on the action. Whether you are a casual fan or someone who loves diving into all of the advanced statistics, FanDuel is going to make your game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. All right, Emma, I don't think you have to be Scooby-Doo to figure out 6 games in, the Nashville Predators are having trouble scoring goals. And if you look at statistics, what you will find is that it's not that Nashville is having a terrible time generating shot chances. They are 15th, I believe, in the league, 15th, 16th, right in there as far as shots taken. And they have generated some great high danger chances, but they are not converting them into goals. And so Monday, we asked Andrew Brunette about this, said, hey, is this an individual issue, player to player, or is there some sort of team systemic issue that is causing these great shot chances not to be converted into goals? And this is what Andrew Brunette had to say.
I think when you get yourself some opportunities, and obviously we went through, not to bring up last year again, but last year where we had so many opportunities, we shot it at a ridiculously low percentage, kind of starting off a little bit like that this year. I think things could be done a little quicker. And is that something you teach, or is that something, skill set you have? I'm not sure. But I still think we can deliver a few more pucks a lot quicker, because the opportunities there, the zone times there, a lot of the things, I was just watching the offensive zone play double third time through against Winnipeg, and there's plays there, and things just have to happen a little bit quicker.
I thought that was so interesting. He said, look, the chances are there, and here's what's real right now. And I know we're only 6 games in, but just for perspective, Nashville is 9th in the league when it comes to expected goals for at 5-on-5. So they are generating chances. I thought it was interesting where he said part of the problem solving is going to be getting the puck off quicker. But is that about an individual player, or is that something the team is doing together systemically that is not letting that happen? So Emma, goal scoring with what Andrew Brunette said, what do you take away from that?
Well, I'm going to be honest, I don't love that answer from him, specifically the part where he says, is that a skill set? Is that something you coach, or is that a skill set you have? I don't know. I'm like, I feel like if anyone should know, it's probably you.
Check the job description, read it again.
Just saying. I mean, there are certain things that you can't coach, like speed, for example. Like, you're fast or you're not. I mean, like, you can coach to a degree, but like there's certain things that you can't coach. But in terms of like, I feel like we can do things a little bit quicker. If he's talking about like making decisions faster, getting set up faster, exiting the zone faster, I mean, whatever he's talking about, like doing things a little more quickly, I feel like those are things that you can coach. Like, it feels like things you should coach. Now, maybe that's not what he's referring to. I don't know. But it seems a little bit like, okay, well, you've identified the problem or a problem. Good start. But now it's like, what are we doing what are we doing about it? Like, what are we doing to fix it? And maybe he is doing things, we're not present for every conversation he has with the team, but I didn't love that answer. I don't think it really took much accountability for, not saying it's all on him, and that the players have no responsibility for it, but it's a little bit like, well, maybe you shouldn't completely like shirk that responsibility, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That was
I
just,
thought
I
it
didn't
was a
love that.
really interesting answer. I was like, okay. Now you want to talk about personal responsibility, friends? I asked Ryan O'Reilly.
Oh, well,
So
see, he's gonna tell you it's his fault that no one is scoring.
yeah.
And then he's gonna go staple his fingers to the carpet. So, I mean,
Yeah. We
now
may
we gotta
want a
do a
wellness
welfare check.
check if he does not
Yeah.
score tonight. We may want to do a wellness check. Yeah, I did. I asked Ryan O'Reilly, you are generating these chances. What do you need to convert them into goals? This is what, bless his heart, Ryan O'Reilly had to say about that.
Yeah, it's not to say specifically what it is. I know for myself, just kind of, it's just like a little mental block right now where it's, just not, feeling the puck and confident with it. Because there's opportunities there, and guys are getting looks. It's just, I think, staying with it. I think it's, once we can kind of spark that, for myself, it's, going to those hard areas and being in the right spots, and when you do that enough, the bounces will come and hopefully spark it there. But yeah, specifically, it's tough to put the one thing on it though.
What you couldn't hear in the background was him starting to run the water to waterboard himself.
Yes.
Oh, bless. I did think it was interesting, and it made me really think about this. He said it's a little bit of a mental block. And even in the moment that he said that, I was like, Ryan O'Reilly, you have been doing this a day or two. But it's interesting to me that there is still that component, even for these veterans. And I wonder, Emma, how much of that is hockey hangover for last season? Like, this was such a struggle for 82 games. And I wonder if they're getting the hitch in their giddy up early about it. And not, like he said, not feeling as comfortable with the puck because they are feeling pressure like, oh my gosh, you know what? We fixed these other things pretty well. Here's the thing we're not fixing yet. So I wonder if there's an element of like, ooh, last season staring you down.
And I think it happens. It's like, talking about that mental block. I mean, we get writer's block all the time. I mean, it happens. And I think that I'm sure that hangover from last season is going to be there until they start consistently producing results that are the antithesis of what happened last season. And they've done that this year, but not consistently. And so I think it's kind of going to stick around. You don't just forget about it. Even Brunette earlier said, well, not to talk about last year. It's like, y'all, last year was so bad. We're going to talk about it
Yeah.
until we can't remember it anymore. And it'll probably take 84 years to forget.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that part of it is last year. I think also too is like you can't expect this team to make a complete 180 in 6 games. I don't think you should expect that. But I think it's a little bit of just like understanding the reality of where this team is. Like we said yesterday, this looks like a team that's going to need an 18-game point streak to get into
Right.
the playoffs. And I don't think that that's a secret. I don't think that anyone is, denying that, the players included. So I think it's a little bit of that and just kind of like being like meeting yourself where you're at and just kind of going from there.
Yeah, goal scoring was definitely lack of goal scoring. Let me be clear. Lack of goal scoring last season was the elephant in the room, and they don't want to talk about last season. But the elephant's butt, like the elephant is exiting the room, but the butt and the tail is still slowly moving out of the room. And I think this is one of those areas where you may see that emotionally a little bit. I also think that it's not even like Nashville needs to go out tonight against Anaheim and Steven Stamkos needs a Hattie. Like, I don't think it's that. I think it's the team putting up more than 2 goals. I think it's feeling some relief with the power play, which Andrew Brunette referred to Monday as stale. He said that it has gotten stale in 6 games. So I think that they just, it needs to come from everywhere, anyone. And I think that it will help. Sure, you want Forsberg and Stamkos and Ryan O'Reilly and Marchessault when he's healthy back to be, scoring goals. Roman Josi scoring goals. But at this point, just anybody, just get some goals on the board. And I think this team will be able to clear the rest of the elephant out of the room.
Yeah. It's like the elephant's still there, but he's like right outside the window, like just looking, like
Staring in.
watching what's going on. Yeah. Or maybe like the door is still open. He's just right outside the door. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The creeper elephant. He's just hovering. He's
Yeah.
hovering. Yeah. Coming up, the Predators have a chance to get some goals on the scoreboard tonight against the Anaheim Ducks. But friends, there are probably more similarities between these two teams than Nashville Predators fans are comfortable with. We will break down the numbers and give you our keys to the game coming up. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Monarch. Let's be honest. Most of us can't even name all of our financial accounts, let alone what they are worth. Whether we're talking about our 401ks, savings, or investments, it's so easy to lose track, and that can mean leaving money on the table. That's why I started using Monarch. It is an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. It has helped me organize my accounts, track my spending, and get a better handle on things like investments without ever having to create a spreadsheet. I also love that I can review everything clearly with my husband. We can see our shared goals and make better financial decisions together. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use our code LOCKEDONNHL at monarch.com. That's monarch.com. And you're going to get 50% off your first year. Again, check out this deal with our code LOCKEDONNHL at monarch.com for 50% off your first year. All right, Emma, Preds, Anaheim, Bridgestone Arena, 7 p.m. tonight. These two teams look very similar. You had mentioned this earlier in the week when we were talking about this 5-game road trip. Anaheim, very similar in things like goals for, goals against, expected goals for, even their puck possession time, very similar in their games. Now, Anaheim has played 5 games. Nashville has played 6. And again, Anaheim coming off of such a painful loss. I mean, like I didn't have a dog in the fight, and I was like, oh, they were down 1-0 against Chicago, tied the game with less than a minute to go, went into overtime, and they lost in overtime. You just go watch the highlights, and you'll see why they're going to come in a little sassy and brassy. When you look at these teams, numbers wise, there's a lot of similarities. They've got some veterans on their roster. They've got some young players on their roster. But Emma, what is going to be the difference maker tonight for the Predators when it comes to facing off against the Ducks?
I mean, I hate to state the obvious, but the power play.
Girl.
Freaking do something on the power play. I will keep saying
Anything.
that until something happens. But no, I mean, I think when you look at, like you said, numbers wise, actually a lot of similarities, which is kind of surprising given the roster construction. But I think if you look at the construction of these two rosters, they are similar in the sense that they have some key veterans along with the younger players. But I think the difference is that for Anaheim, the young players are driving the bus and the veterans are there in a supporting role. Not that they're not, that they're not contributing. I mean, I think Chris Kreider is one of their top point scorers, like point getters right now. So not that they're not contributing, but it's just like the way the roster is built. It's to elevate the young players. Nashville, it's like, well, we still can't figure out who we want to drive the bus. So right now it's just kind of one of those self-driving cars and we're all in the bus and we're just going to, I don't know, see what happens. And that's just kind of, to me, the difference in the roster construction there. If you look at offense, specifically opportunities, I mean, Anaheim currently tied for second in the NHL in shots per game. They
Yeah.
take 33 shots per game.
Yes.
So if we're talking about difference maker, Juuse Saros is going to need to look like the Juuse Saros that we've seen so far this season. I'm not concerned about that. But the problem is we saw with Winnipeg, even, when he is on, he can't do it himself. And so I think that defense is going to be a thing. I think goaltending is going to be a thing. But when you're looking at like average goals per game and whatnot, these two teams actually very similar in those numbers. I think that it is going to be on the margins. It's going to be little things like, that you have an edge defensively. That you have an edge with goaltending. That's great. But it's the offense that's going to be the difference maker here, whether that's on the power play or at 5-on-5. But they need to be able to generate more offense. Nashville does.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I think there's definitely some areas when you're looking at goaltending statistics where Nashville has the advantage. I think defensively, the Predators are playing very well. But again, it comes down to you've got to give Juuse Saros some goal support. And one of the things that if you watch these games that Anaheim has played so far is they don't always start well. Their first 3 games, they went down a goal in the first 4 minutes or less of the game. But you cannot get complacent because they come back. Anaheim comes back. They are that kind of scrappy team. And we have seen what happens when Nashville starts a game late, like they did against the Winnipeg Jets. So Nashville cannot get that first early goal and be like, look at us now. You just can't take your foot off the pedal for 60 minutes. And that is an area of growth for the Nashville Predators that they're going to need to really pay attention to. You can't get comfortable. And the other thing is Nashville can't turtle too soon. Like if you have a 1-goal lead, for heaven's sake, try to make it a 2-goal lead or a 3-goal lead. Don't just be like, look at us. We're up 1. Like you can't do that.
Look
against
at us.
Anaheim.
We scored a goal. I mean, yeah. No, as you said, you sound like an HR professional doing like, year-end reviews or something where it's like, well, this is an area of opportunity for the Nashville Predators. It's not a criticism. It's not a flaw. It is an area of opportunity. The Nashville Predators have boatloads of opportunity to improve offensively and actually, start finishing their chances. And like you said, they can't turtle, they can't be complacent. And that's something that we've seen. Like we've seen even in the Winnipeg game, which let's be clear, the Nashville Predators never really had a chance in that game. But if you look at how different they looked in the second period of that game versus the first period, I mean, who knows? If they had come out in the first period looking like they did in the second, they may have had a chance. And because they did everything but score in that period. And so I think that we've seen a lot of that inconsistency in a few of the games already this season. And so I feel like we come into games now with this team and it's like, well, I know they're only really going to show up for 2 periods. So let's just cross our fingers and hope it's the 2 right ones, like the 2 that they need to show up in. But it's like, what would be great? Show up for all 3.
Just 60 whole minutes. It's just 20 minutes more, guys. You're in shape. Yeah. You can do it. Yeah, I agree with you. Nashville has to turn the page on the power play. And I do think that is kind of a mental hitch in the giddy up for this team as well. They've got to convert on that. The other thing is stay out of the freaking box because Anaheim has a very good power play. And again, it's early in the season, but they've converted 25% of their power play opportunities. Nashville, let's just not even worry about the numbers. And let me sum it up by saying they have not. They have not.
It's an area of opportunity. It's an area for growth.
There's opportunity for growth, which is our HR way of saying stop sucking on the power play. And if Nashville can play the way that we have seen them play defensively, if we can get Juuse Saros continuing the way he has started the season, and if Nashville can get some goals one way or the other, I don't care how many people are on the ice at any given time, score some goals. This could be a really good game for Nashville to get back in the win column. And I think that's what they need. I know we're only 6 games in, but when you have a 5-game homestand and you have an opportunity for 10 points, you really, really, you want to get you want to get all the points, but this is a good opportunity for Nashville to build some momentum on this homestand. So come on, y'all.
Stop sucking.
Stop sucking. Or as they say in HR, embrace your opportunities for growth, guys.
Yes.
Embrace
Yes.
those. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
We'll go with that in the swag store. Again, puck drop tonight at Bridgestone Arena, 7 p.m. Is the start time for people interested in watching on TV, being at Bridgestone, or I don't know, the team, 7 p.m. puck drop. So we will see what happens as the Preds face the Anaheim Ducks. Of course, you know that Emma and I are going to be back tomorrow. We are going to recap the game. We're going to talk about what we see. We're going to share our one word to describe the outcome tonight. So make sure you tune in tomorrow for that game recap and breakdown. Before we wrap it up on this game day, though, Emma, let everyone know where they can find you and your work.
You can find me on social media at Emma_Lingan, and you can find my work at the Hockey News.
You can find me on social media at AnnK_Mama on Ice. You can find my work with Penalty Box Radio as well. Friends, that is going to do it for this game day episode of the Locked On Predators podcast. Thanks again so much for making us your first listen of the day. We will be back tomorrow with the Ducks Preds game recap. We will see you then.